Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. My name is Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in. Joined by two of the smartest guys I know, and Dennis Pope and Art Eftikari. The whole group's here today. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
This could be the biggest show of all time. We've got a lot of stuff we got to get through, plus a very important guest over here watching from just beyond our cameras here. So Paul Caligiuri's coming up in our second segment. We're going to break down all kinds of OCFC2. We're going to talk maybe some national soccer team news, all kinds of good stuff. But we got a lot to get to. Plus, more good news. There's advertising space still available. Art did not snatch all of it up. I know he's going to launch a new Keeping Up with the Kardashians website, and he's going to promote that. But he has not bought it all yet. There's still space available. That's the good news. So if you hit us up now, again, the email, sales@tvemax.com. Send us an email. Say, I got a local business. I want some of that free advertising on Inside the UPSL. We can help you out, but you got to email us. You got to let us know, and we'll get you all the details on some free advertising for your business right here on Inside the UPSL. All right, Pope and Art, let's go through our hot topics. And the very first one is, okay, so we're in the final round now of qualifying for the U.S. Open Cup. These are huge, right? If you win, you're in. I mean, these are huge, massive matches now coming up because if you win, you punch your ticket into, can we call it the big dance? The actual U.S. Open Cup tournament. Pope, can you kind of paint us a picture of how big these matches are coming up in the third round of qualifying?
Right. For a lot of these clubs, this is potentially the biggest match that they've played in ever in the history of their entire thing. So this upcoming weekend is sort of a do or die for them. They've built their entire calendar year up to this point, to this moment, and everything is about advancing to May in the tournament proper. We have still, the league does, 14 teams still in and capable. There's 4 all UPSL matchups, and as many as 10 UPSL teams can advance now to the first round of the U.S. Open Cup. So it could be a potentially massive windfall for the UPSL and its teams, and all eyes will be on those 4 all UPSL matchups because those are guaranteed, obviously, to send 4 UPSL teams to the tournament. So, those are the games to look for. The Cal Derby, the Southwest versus San Juan in the Mountain, and then the 2 Southeast games are both all UPSL matchups. So those 4 games specifically will have the concentration of those who are watching the UPSL the most. And then there's other games. There's one in the East, there's one in the Midwest, and there's some other games scattered around, the Northwest and here in the SoCal. So there's lots of action, and hopefully it'll all be on My Cujo, and that'll be the best part. Is for the first time ever, all these games will be on a streamable platform where people can watch.
Yeah, it's huge. All these matches, if you want to check them out, see who's going to advance. Art Eftikari, let me put you on the spot. So, beyond the matches that Pope just talked about, what are some of the other matches that you're keeping an eye on of these teams trying to punch their ticket in advance?
Well, not a surprise, especially for anyone who's been watching the recent editions of Inside the UPSL. I have my eye on the match between FC Denver and GAM United. Of course, FC Denver is from the Colorado Premier League, GAM United from the UPSL. Come this weekend, it's going to be GAM time.
GAM is a remarkable story. They started as a championship division team in Colorado in the second tier. They earned promotion to the Pro Premier there in Colorado, and now they're on the verge of qualifying for the U.S. Open Cup. So it's been quite an ascendance for their club. It's been quite an amazing story.
Well, it's not quite the Kardashians, but there is going to be like a documentary, right, involving a UPSL club or clubs in the plural.
At some point.
At some point. We're talking about Viva Non-League America. And, Pope, you said when it comes to soccer, these guys do a bang-up job in terms of producing documentaries to kind of showcase, especially now, what the UPSL has to offer. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Non-League America, one of the first groups to actively cover and document lower division soccer in the United States. They've been around since 2012, and they started out as a blog. This guy, Steve Bailey, who was a Florida through Northeast transplant. He now lives in Chicago. So he's kind of been all over, seeing what lower division soccer is in a lot of different regions of the country. And he started a blog that became popular with followers of lower division soccer. And through that popularity, he's been able to branch off and now gain interest of a documentary filmmaker or two who are putting out documentaries through his platform. And so he is sort of co-producing, executive directing, these productions, basically covering, these lower division teams like Christos FC in Maryland and Providence FC in Rhode Island. And now with this partnership with the UPSL, it gives them an opportunity to take a look at our clubs and see what's good and what could possibly their potential could be for documentary filmmaking for UPSL clubs. So it's a very exciting partnership with the league. They also have a marketing brand, Non-League America does. And so they produce things like T-shirts and hats and stuff of their own marketing brand. And they're interested also in getting involved in UPSL clubs and helping some of the clubs that don't quite have the marketing facets for their clubs to try and get them going a little bit too. So it's a really cool thing for both them and for the league.
So Art, let's assume for the second here that Non-League America is watching right now. Who would make a good documentary? What team, coach, your favorite host? Who would make a good documentary in the UPSL right now? If you're pitching ideas, we're sitting around, just a bunch of writers and producers. Make a pitch.
It's a tough one. I mean, there's plenty of teams. We talk about different teams all the time. One of them I would even say possibly could be Soda City. We've mentioned Soda City on more than one occasion.
Sure.
You could maybe even do one about, I would say, Cal United FC too. They've rebranded on more than one occasion. They were once known as OC Invicta FC. I mean, they've had a lot of success so far, and just when you're saying what are some other teams that you come up with? I mean, there's so many clubs. I mean, there's gonna be a good one coming out. That's for sure.
Every team's got a good story, right?
And that's the thing, right? There's some sort of an emotional tie, like some cool storylines with maybe players' tough upbringing, or maybe they've gone all over the place trying to further their soccer careers. Like there's a story on every single team. It's just I guess their job to find it, right?
Right now, from what I've been told, the focus is sort of on the Midwest and some of those clubs coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first ones that we do see come out of the Midwest Conference of the UPSL. But I know they're excited to branch out here to the West Coast and take a look at some of these teams. But there's so many good stories, and each one, every club's got a story to tell. Right, everybody's got a founding story and an origin story. The people who brought the club from where it was nothing to something, So I think each individual and within that has its own story. So I think the possibilities are endless for Non-League America and the UPSL going forward. It's going to be really, really interesting to see the kind of content that they create going forward.
All right, let's shift gears to the addition of the Valdez Law Firm to the UPSL. What does this mean? What's the impact to the UPSL and maybe some of its fans?
Okay, so Valdez Law Firm is an immigration attorney.
Okay.
And so they represent those seeking to become United States citizens here in the States. So what they're going to do for the UPSL is those Hispanic and Latino-based clubs who have contacts in Central and South America and other places, Mexico and so forth, help bring some of those potential players, to bear in the United States for those clubs. And so hopefully it'll make that transition for the clubs easier, transition for the players easier, give somebody who in the States who, has their legal, rights in their corner, so to speak. So I think, it just is another, little bit playing card for the UPSL to say, we have the potential for players now to come transnationally, to come across, country borders and still play in the league.
Do we see that much right now, currently?
Players have to arrive in the United States legally on their own before they can, be eligible to play under U.S. guidelines. So, they have to go through their own immigration stuff. So this hopefully will help,
assist them through that process.
Expedite the process for both the league and the players. And coaches potentially too.
That's true.
And so, there's a lot of very talented coaches all over the world, that are looking for opportunities. And, with the UPSL growing like it is, there's going to be more and more opportunities here to coach. So, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't hold true for coaches as well as players.
Yeah. That kind of opens the door, right, Art? I mean, like Pope was saying, if there's players, if there's coaches, sometimes maybe it's kind of hard to grasp or understand the process of, getting into another country and trying to further your soccer career. If you had someone to kind of, the saying is hold your hand, someone to assist you so you understand exactly what's going on, it could make it easier for, some new talent to come into the league. Well,
the bottom line is that the Valdez law firm, they're committed to providing excellent representation to foreign nationals. And with like Dennis said, with the UPSL growing, and we've heard people say that the UPSL is like a melting pot of players and coaches from all over the world. This is a good partnership. Things are really moving forward. I like this.
All right, Pope, what's going on in Texas in the Central Conference here?
So much is happening right now. There's a lot of things that are in flux, but the plan is for the spring to have 3 tiers.
Okay.
So to have the UPSL's full pro rel model take place in Texas in the Central Conference come spring 2019. So that means a Pro Premier, a Championship, and a League One situation, and which promotion and relegation is active between the 3 tiers. There's now the second tier championship is building. The league hasn't announced any teams in that division yet, but there has been a team announced in League One in the 3rd tier, and that's Azul City Premier out of Fort Worth, and they're going to get started building a League One there in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. There's a lot of soccer happening there. The populace of clubs there is very great, and so this shouldn't take very long before the divisions get populated with clubs. So, it's going to be a very busy springtime in Texas. There's already 3 divisions playing there, not including the teams that may join from Oklahoma or fringe areas outside of Texas. So it's just a very busy time. That right now there's already 18 teams in the fall, which is like the busiest Texas has ever been for the UPSL. And fall is typically sort of the down season, compared to the spring. But Texas is thriving right now with 3 full divisions: the North, the Heart, and the South. And then come the springtime, potentially each one of those divisions could have a championship division and a 3rd tier, depending on how many teams end up joining it between now and then. But for now, the North division will have a 3rd tier, and then the Heart and the South will probably follow suit very shortly.
Excellent. All right, let's wrap it up like this. What are we thankful for? Art, we've got a lot to be thankful for this time of year. What are you thankful for?
As we know, family, friends. We also got to be thankful for our firefighters, our first responders.
Yeah.
It's a tough time right now in California.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And Pope, not to put you on the spot, has the fires affected any of the UPSL matches, from this past week, or maybe matches coming up on the horizon?
I know that FC Storm up in Santa Clarita canceled their match over the weekend because of air quality up there. But as far as Northern California games go, I don't think there were any cancellations because of the fires. But there was that one Southern California game that was canceled. Yeah,
we'll definitely keep an eye on that if anything changes. It's another good reason to follow the UPSL on Twitter, too. You get that news more immediate. What are you thankful for, Pope?
Oh, my boys. I got 3, young growing boys, and they're all healthy and happy. And I'm very thankful for my wife. She, has done a lot for my career and done a lot for the family, so I'm definitely thankful for her.
I'm thankful for one thing, Paul Caligiuri. He's on the show next, Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max, the USA Soccer legend and the coach of OCFC2, is going to take the place of these 2 guys on the couch. Paul Caligiuri coming up next on Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. And welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. We got Paul Caligiuri in studio. We're going to talk a lot of things with him. U.S. national team, of course, Orange County Football Club, too, as well. But first, let's take a look at one of the most historic goals in U.S. national team history. The big goal against TNT, Trinidad and Tobago, that sent them to the World Cup. The goal was in 1989 for the 1990 World Cup. Let's check it out.
Putting it in to Caligiuri. Beats the first man. A left-footed shot. Paul Caligiuri has scored a goal in the USA. Lead 1-0.
The 1-0 victory put the United States into the World Cup for the first time in 40 years.
Putting it in to Caligiuri. Beats the first man. A left-footed shot.
So that goal, famously known as the shot heard round the world. But Paul, you were saying that maybe not the most important goal, right? You had a big one at the World Cup.
Well, that was obviously
important
because it changed kind of the course of soccer. Had we not qualified for that World Cup, a lot of things would have been different.
Yeah.
Perhaps even today. But no, for me, one of the better goals, the quality goals, was actually in the World Cup when we played with we were down 3-0 after 25 minutes against Czech Republic, and I was playing right back, and we were down a man on top of it, and I stole the ball and eventually dribbled the keeper and scored. So that was one of my highlights of my career.
Going back to that goal you just specifically brought up, what was it, like a couple give and goes? You made a run up the side, or what was that?
At that stage, Czech was holding possession, and I saw the player wanting to switch the point of attack and keep the ball in the midfield, and I just released, and if he's going to send that ball across the field, I'm going to try to steal it. And I took it out of the volley, first time towards the center circle where our one lone striker was standing, and I just kept running. So all he had to do is trap the ball and play it through, and hope that I could get
and
to
you
it.
ran onto it.
And I just kept going.
Obviously, one of the biggest goals. We could peel apart what's going on with American soccer right now, but the big thing is, we didn't make the World Cup this past time, but the good news is the World Cup is coming back to the United States, in North America. Are you excited to see the World Cup coming back to our part of the world and maybe kind of display what American soccer can offer again? Because, in '94, this country was electric.
Well, it's quite interesting. I think that people in the soccer family and the community are super interested and excited about the fact that the World Cup is coming back in 2026. It's coming back not only to the United States, but Mexico and Canada, and which is quite unique. But I think the excitement will really start turning after the Qatar World Cup in 2022. So that's when the general sports fans and the sponsorships will ramp up. But certainly it's good for soccer all around the board, from youth soccer to college soccer to adult soccer, semi-professional to professional. It's exciting both for men and women, boys and girls.
Now, back in when the World Cup was here in the United States, you guys were like rock stars. You know what I mean? Like commercials, everywhere you turn on the TV, there's interviews, like you guys were rock stars. Do you feel like American soccer can get back there? Like maybe, not to say it dropped off, but I feel like when it was here in the United States, it was bigger than anything else going on.
Certainly we like events.
Yeah.
When we saw when the Women's World Cup was played, that was the #1 women's sporting event of all times. And actually, that final game was the most televised soccer match ever watched in the United States. So Americans tend to like events like the World Cup and Olympics of that nature, so certainly it's coming back, and it will happen. I believe that Major League Soccer has done a great job of bringing some of that star status from other countries, such as the Wayne Rooneys and Zlatans into the program, where it kind of keeps that little star status alive. But certainly we'd like to see more and more American players rise to those levels, especially after the turn of the guards, the new fresh players have coming in to make the new qualifying run for the next World Cup.
And now, I guess in a more direct way, you're helping groom these potential next stars, for soccer. Your involvement, obviously, with Orange County FC. Do you enjoy passing on what you know, and again, being a college coach and now going to Orange County FC, seeing these younger players and helping develop them in their skills?
Yeah, I've been engaged and immersed in both youth soccer and the collegiate soccer, and then for the past couple of years now in the semi-pro adult soccer ranks. And certainly I see that the UPSL, at least in our conference, it's a higher level than college soccer in a lot of ways, and certainly we have some top teams, but what that tells me is there's a lot of talent, and there's a lot of talent through the UPSL nationwide, and you know, coming together with the UPSL and taking a new role with them, I'm super excited to look for ways of providing opportunities not only for players but also for clubs in many facets, but it's going to be a work in progress for sure.
So Paul is the Director of Player Development for the UPSL. So Paul, what exactly does that mean? How can you help all the clubs in the UPSL? What exactly are you doing here?
Well, I think we first have to launch a program or a couple programs, and certainly I've had the opportunity to sit down with Jan Skora, the commissioner, and Leonel Alvarez, the president and founder, and you know, these are great soccer minds, and we don't want to discount the members, the clubs, the owners, the coaches. These are also great soccer minds, and certainly where things are going in that direction, I think immediately we could do something for the players and look for some sort of selection process to announce something up and coming, to host an invited selection of players to come in here and compete and showcase their talents. On the level of clubs, I think we want to be in lines. I mean, traditionally, you look at the world, there's 208 nations that are of FIFA, and we're the only nation that doesn't really have a promotion relegation system. But UPSL does, which is exciting. But overall, we don't. So you have Major League Soccer, USL, and they have their plans for the next Division 3. But in most countries, the first division, second division, and the third division are the pro ranks. And you have all these amateur clubs trying to fight their way up into the pro ranks, and either through training and competition and winning games to get there. And if you're in third division, you don't want to get dropped. So here we have a slew of talent, and it's not quite organized for the rest of the world to see. And we're in every other country, be it Germany, France, Spain, England, or even South America, the Perus, the Bolivias, the Colombia, the Venezuela, Brazil, Argentinas, etc. Even in China, Japan, Korea. I mean, I'm just naming some that I think the audience could identify with. But you do have the fourth division, and that is really the driving force of talent. We have the only other driving force of talent in this country is actually the college ranks. So when you have level of teams at this level competing, there are a lot of talented players, and certainly we want to expose them and give opportunities to our clubs. And I think what's eventually is going to happen, in my wishes, is that we're able to create new partnerships, new alignments, either be it with their Major League Soccer team in their region, their area, which is in 27 major markets throughout the United States, and UPSL's in roughly 40 states, or the USL teams, and to find those kind of relationships and partnerships that we're already establishing. So as much as things haven't really been announced from the standpoint of what we're going to do, it's up and coming. We'll have it in the beginning of the year, early next year, 2019, something for the players, and certainly we're working in the direction of helping the clubs with relationships, with partnerships, and those could extend also abroad into Europe and into South America or into Asia that we're consistently looking at. Because I think when players have a dream, they want to move up the ladder, just like teams do. And if we're able to spotlight this talent, then it's just going to be really the driving force for talent all around the world. We're the last lost horizon. It's like Christopher Columbus came here and so-called discovered America, right? And we're like the last pool of talent on this planet. I mean, European clubs did a great job going to Africa. They've done a great job going to Asia and South America. And you've seen these clubs, and they have scouts and but really it's not quite here yet. But the talent is. And hopefully we could do our due diligence of organizing that and facilitating those opportunities.
I was going to say, as the director of player development with the UPSL, you can help, like you said, identify maybe those players and put them on a path, like you said, to get that promotion, get them some exposure to maybe whatever step that might be to go on to that next level.
Yeah, and the other partnerships could be, in the youth side with the colleges as well. And I think those are fantastic opportunities. And you know, where I've come, I played youth soccer in Germany when I was 15 years old, believe it or not. And you know, I was able to see the system from a different lens. And when I was playing there, and then I've come back and I played professionally there as well, I realized that there's a lot we could do in terms of integration. But in addition to that, there's top competitions that don't exist here in the United States. For instance, a U19 European Championship. It exists. Or a U21. So there's an under 19 and an under 21 European Championship that countries are trying to qualify for now to get into those ranks. And I feel that in the future with Derek Barrazas and the Jan Suarez and Leonel Alvarez and some of these coaches we've been talking with, we want to create those opportunities.
Yeah.
So in the U19 academies, and when you're 20, 21 years old, most are in college. And if they're not in college because of whatever reasons they didn't go there or they're in a community college, this can be the next link to that. So certainly it's I get college players to play for me, and they come and go, obviously, because they go to their season. But it's now to the point where the college coaches are contacting us, hoping that they could get their top players into our programs for the off-season program because their programs are short. So it's fascinating to see the growth and the interest that in a short period what UPSL has done.
You know, this is kind of a loaded question on how do you fix American soccer, but it sounds like it's all about the development, right? Like grooming these kids, even from, like you said, youth going into college and then college and beyond, trying to have a UPSL team to train with. Is that the easy answer? It's just, the kids are our future, right?
Well, I think that, when you ask, like, how do you fix U.S. soccer?
That's a loaded question.
You're like, where do we start? Like, what particularly are we trying to fix? For many years I heard that college soccer is not the route if you want to become a professional. But 99%, 98% of our top academy players end up going to college. And when people could go check the NCAA Division I All-Americans, first team, second team, third team, and you'll see that a lot of them are international players. And what that's telling me is they're not making their pro teams at 19 years old, and they're electing for a second opportunity, utilizing that as a platform. And often cases, they go back to their home country, and they do become professional with an education, or they like to stay here and make a living and grow through that. But certainly, we take advantage of that opportunity as well. So I'm not sure if that's kind of added bonus. When you really look at the college and university platform in sports, other countries don't have that. So we certainly could utilize that, and that's another aspect where UPSL teams could to have good relationships with these local colleges in their areas, so they could scrimmage them and play them in the off season, and formalize that, because that, I think, helps soccer grow. It's not necessarily trying to fix something; it's trying to grow something. So there's, when you say fix it, it's kind of a loaded question, because I'm not sure what we're trying to fix other than, build upon what we have. From a player standpoint, I could say that, when I was growing up till today, because I coach both youth soccer and the adult levels, that it's the same. How do you get seen? How do I get someone to come watch me so I could go to college? Or how do I get someone to watch me so I could, make it to the pros? Or even my team. How do you get to know OCFC2 or one of these other teams that are doing quite well? And it's all about communication, hosting tryouts, having follow-up and things of that nature. And, it's going to be an exciting period of time being with the UPSL.
Paul, speaking of OCFC2, if we could circle back to the Pro Premier SoCal South Division, along with yourself, Santa Ana Winds, San Diego Premier, San Diego Zest, where would you kind of rank the level of competition, the level of talent we're seeing right now with your club, but also across the board in that division? Is it a high level of soccer that we're seeing?
I emailed the league saying this is not fair. I mean, come on, these teams are really, really good. But it's exciting. I mean, when you really mention the Santa Ana Winds, it's traditionally a powerhouse, year in and year out, and what the Cal United has done in a short period is fantastic. And then you didn't mention Gremio, but that team's pretty tough too down in San Diego. But certainly it's exciting, and I think that in due time, if we're able to have some, like state tournaments or national tournaments, I think it'd be exciting to see how competition pairs with the rest of the country. I see there's a couple teams in that Florida Central Pro Premier. I mean, come on.
Florida's got some good soccer teams right now.
52 goals, 8 against.
Yeah.
And, who are these soccer soldiers?
Exactly. Exactly.
ASC, and there's some really strong teams, and it'd be interesting to see how the Florida teams and the Texas
Florida
teams
All-Star
and
team and a California All-Star team.
And I think that's what's going to make this more exciting as time goes on, and the players would love something like that. And same with the clubs, because they'll get branded. It's exciting to really have this opportunity. You asked earlier what to be thankful for. I'm thankful to be part of UPSL. It's super exciting, and I can't believe the growth, but I can't believe also the opportunities. I'm going to do everything I can to bring back some opportunities for these players and these clubs and these coaches and teams, and it should be very exciting.
Is it difficult to identify talent? Because maybe some guys will work harder than others. Maybe some have the natural talent.
That's a whole nother show. So
I'm just curious. I could sit here for hours with you right now.
That's where you got identifying talent or motivating, inspiring talent. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Because when you said fix, I think most of the people in America would probably think, fix United States soccer. Like, how do you fix it so not qualifying for the World Cup never ever happens again?
Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is, a lot of those players, we were jumping out of our seats 4 years before that, and how great they are and stars
the future
they are.
looked great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But the psychological element of inspiring them and motivating them with two, prominent coaches, with Jurgen Klinsmann and Bruce Arena, it still didn't happen.
Yeah.
So you had to look at other factors, and were they prepared? Were they prepared to make difficult changes at the right time?
Yeah.
And back to your question, did they already have talent identified to replace that? So these are some tough questions to ask, and certainly, I was saddened that day.
Yeah.
I was kind of speechless, but certainly I just saw we lost because of our effort. At the end of the day, it wasn't because we're not talented; it's the effort wasn't there for multiple reasons, whatever that may be. But it just didn't seem like the spirit was there.
Yeah.
And, so identifying talent is important not only for your top 11 or your top 16, 18 players. A lot of these rosters have 30 players, and you need them because things happen at this level. People work, or they have school, they have jobs, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And you keep the healthy competition within your in your squad, and it allows these players to keep pushing each other in practice for their opportunity. And I'm not sure if the pool with the U.S. national team at that stage was quite there.
It's failing to make the World Cup in Russia. I know it's hitting you hard. I could tell, especially coming from a guy who had one of the most iconic goals to qualify for the World Cup back in the 90 World Cup.
In that same country.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, come on.
So, Paul, last question. How can the UPSL somehow be a feeder system or assist USA Soccer in identifying talent or grooming players, or going back to just, whatever they might need up the ladder to create the best U.S. men's national team? Can the UPSL play a role in that somehow?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. We've already seen players make the jump from UPSL into the Major League Soccer. And certainly with my relationships, and I have the ability to connect with these coaches, sporting directors, general managers, and have these talks. And in the circle that I'm in, and the talks that we've had, we're doing a lot of their work that they couldn't do. And certainly it's easy for us because we're going to need a collective effort, a collaboration with the owners, with the coaches, to start identifying these players and bringing them into combines, and hopefully we find certain competitions, and we keep building upon that. I had a dream one time saying, I can't imagine bringing a team from the north, south, and east, west regions, and actually taking international trips with it, like an all-star select team.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, we're not just limited to the initiatives of what Major League Soccer has, or even USL. We want to provide opportunity. This is a global game, and there's opportunities all around the world. I've already had 4 or 5 players that have left OCFC and have gone abroad, either playing 3rd Division Spain, 2nd Division Germany, one in Sweden, a couple in Mexico. So
there's opportunities.
There's opportunities, and it really gets a little touchy because we develop them, we have an ownership, and there's really no payback for that player going abroad other than you get notoriety for your team.
Yeah.
And it's a feel-good, right?
Yeah.
You feel good for that player, but what happens is now we have a slew of players that want to come here because those opportunities exist.
Because they see the other players going
I've
places.
kind of gone through this for the last, this is my 2nd cycle. So, helping other teams to find that right antidote of how to build relationships in their communities with their local colleges or their pro team, and looking for methods of getting players opportunities. That's all in the playbook here, and we want to bring that to those clubs.
Well, Paul, we could go on and on and on, but we appreciate you stopping by inside the UPSL, and best of luck to OCFC2 the rest of the way, that very tough division that we were talking about.
No, we're going to need it for sure. But it's exciting, and I wish all the best to all the teams out there, and it's exciting to see, and follow some of these teams. You've never seen them play before, but with my Cujo, it makes it a little easier. So it's exciting. There's some great talent out there, so it's not just limited here to Southern California. But definitely, we have some really tough teams in our conference.
Really good teams right here in your own conference and across the country for sure. And Paul Caligiuri, king of segues, because speaking of Mike Cujo, coming up here on Inside the UPSL, the Mike Cujo Goals of the Week. We're going to break those down when we come back on Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. And welcome back inside the UPSL presented by TVE Max. You guys back already? I wanted Paul Caligiuri to hang out longer, but Pope and Art's like, we got to get back on the couch.
It seemed like he was willing to, at least.
He's got, I'm sure, so many stories, and we could talk about OCFC2 and all kinds of stuff, but that was awesome. It was a real
fantastic. It was really cool.
Real treat to have Paul Caligiuri here in studio. But he brought up Mike Cujo because he likes to watch all the games and highlights and stuff on Mike Cujo. Now we have the Mike Cujo Goals of the Week where you guys get to vote. You get to pick your favorite. So let's check out this week's Mike Cujo Goals of the Week. All right, there's the My Cujo Goals of the Week here on Inside the UPSL. I got Twitter open over here, hashtag My Cujo, and just GOTW, right? You don't have to type out the whole thing if you want to hashtag for the goals of the week. If you just want to hashtag it and throw it out there, because I see a lot of these different teams hashtag banger, like if it's a really good goal, right? So I see a lot of that stuff coming down the pike. So guys, the My Cujo Goals of the Week. You got a favorite? You got a front runner? Are you still voting? Because voting's still open, right?
Right. Voting closes Thursday at midnight. So yeah, you can still have. There's still time. There's still time to get your votes in. What's the vote tally at right now?
You know what? I was just going to pull it up so you guys. I was going to have you guess who's leading right now.
I think we are somewhere around 200 votes or so far in the last 36 hours or so.
Oh, we're over 300.
Nice. That's unbelievable. That's
I'm voting right now.
That's great. So the four goals: Samba FC's Emilio Mendez, Dallas City FC's Miles Bias. Someone's going to have to help me out with the pronunciation on the Nevada Coyotes player.
Suleiman Haruna Iya.
Thank you, sir.
There it is.
And then, of course, our buddy Duncan Bociccio from LA.
Oh yeah.
LA10 FC. He's the last goal on
Duncan,
there.
yeah.
He had a little left-footed shot that he hit hard.
Was that a hashtag banger?
I think it was a banger.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of cool goals this week. I think the Miles Bias goal is fantastic. That player and myself, we go back like 10 years now almost. And so
yeah, you covered him at the high school level, right?
At the high school level here in Southern California. Now he's living in Dallas. And so it's cool to see him as a part of the UPSL. That was an awesome surprise to see that. And I think just any of those goals. I think Emilio Mendez is leading currently, is he not?
Let's see. I'm just retweeting it, and I'll tell you right.
He was my choice, actually.
Yeah, he's up. On our guy Duncan.
Yeah,
it's getting close.
Duncan's been put on the offensive today. I've seen on social media. He's really trying to pump out the vote.
There's campaigns.
Yeah.
Like there's full-on campaigns out there, right? If you want to win the Mike Cujo Goal of the Week.
People know to vote for you. You know, how do they know to vote if they don't know you're eligible?
The player, the coach, even better, the whole entire club, right? You get behind it, you retweet it, you tell everyone you know, and you try to win.
Some very awesome left-footed shots. I think Mendez's was a turn in the left foot. Duncan's was a left foot. the Nevada Coyotes goal. He actually picks it from a defender and shoots it past the goalkeeper. Like, he actually stole the ball, like, in front of the keeper, in front of the defender, and, like, made the play. There's some really awesome goals this week. I'm really pleased with the quality of the goals.
All right, yeah, there is still time. I'm looking at it right now on Twitter. It's getting close. And Miles, if you're a Redlands guy or an Inland Empire guy, Miles needs your votes right now. I know it's an election year. Go to the ballots. Miles needs you right now. Art, do you have a favorite of these goals of the week? Are you voting? Are you hashtagging bangers, or what are you doing?
Well, earlier, like I said, Emilio Mendez, he's got my vote. I like that goal. It was a really nice left-footed shot. It put some good curve on it. I liked it. Sorry, Duncan, but Duncan's was good too.
Bocicio's our guy.
Duncan's was a first-timer. It was a one-time shot. It just came to him.
Which I appreciate. I mean, the one-timers, that's skillful right there.
Right.
So, hashtag banger, hashtag firecracker, whatever.
Hashtag MyCujo, UPSL MyCujo, GOTW.
I see it all over the place, yeah. So if you use the hashtag, we're going to find it.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
But another reason to just follow UPSL Soccer on Twitter, and then you'll see the little voting poll, the little mechanism right there to cast your vote. And there's still a little bit of time left. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we got more news to get to here on Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. And welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. A lot of news going on across the UPSL as we go coast to coast. And we always like to start in the Sunshine State of Florida, because it's popping off right now in Florida in terms of UPSL soccer. America SC continuing to roll in the Central Division unblemished. I mean, they haven't lost. I mean, they're perfect right now.
Yeah, they got a big match coming up, but so far so good. 9-0-0. Just a ridiculous goals against average total.
But now it's going to get real juicy.
Hopefully. They played Deportivo Lake Mary coming up this weekend. Lake Mary also is unbeaten. I think they have two draws. I think they're like 5-2-0 or something like that. But it's a battle of unbeatens, and I think it's probably the most important match down the stretch in that Central Division.
Is that maybe one of the biggest matches of the week?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, America Soccer Club, they have a lot of players to talk about. I mean, in their recent victory over Instituto Atletico FC, they won 4-2. You had 2 goals from William Ayang. He's from Cameroon, great player. Like we talked about him before in a previous edition of Inside the UPSL.
He's been a player of the week before.
That's right. He's also played for Orlando City's B team. But the player of the game was goalkeeper Joao Bolizan. He made a lot of saves, and of course he comes from the country of Brazil. So definitely lots of talent. They won 4-2, but he was the man of the match. So keep an eye out on him. I'm sure he's got a lot of great skill.
In America, of course, they host Soda City, right, coming up also in the U.S. Open Cup, do they not?
Yes, they do. That's a match I think we should try and watch. Hopefully they'll be streaming it. I think it will be very entertaining.
Oh, we'll pop the top on that one for sure. To the southeast we go. Nova FC and Germantown FC. Hashtag we run this. They're having a great start to the season, right?
Yeah.
At least for now.
The two of them are really starting to pull away from the rest of the Mid-Atlantic division there. North Virginia FC, they rebranded from Virginia FC, new entrant into the UPSL for the fall season, and they really seem to have the talent to take over, coming in straight away. Germantown, also a first-time UPSL participant. they look strong. Their only losses to Northern
So
Virginia.
they've played once head-to-head
That's
already.
Correct. And I think it was a 2-1 or 2-0 for Northern Virginia, and they're going to come back and play the rematch here in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that one.
All right, Art, let's go to Texas, the Lone Star State. Atletico Katy, right? That's kind of weird to say a Spanish word to the American word back to back. Still hot.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
Were you really?
pretty much.
Big 5-1 win over Houston FC. So now the points, the standings get a little closer, right? A little jumbled now.
Well, yeah, they're looking good. I mean, they have a lot of victories, a lot of lopsided victories. They've beaten teams like FC Imperial 7-0, Armadillos FC 8-0. In the previous match with Houston, they won 1-0, but this time didn't seem to be much of a test. They're in control right now.
Yeah, Houston FC too. They're a PDL club during the springtime. You thought that they probably would have brought a little tougher challenge into this match, but the season's getting late. There could be injuries racking up. There could be any number of circumstances affecting Houston FC right now. So Atletico Katy, they have a little bit of points in hand situation in terms of game situation. So
Yeah.
I think they're in control, looking to end out the regular season.
Yeah, it looks like 3 games in hand, and they're only 1 point behind Houston FC. So right now they have to be feeling very confident in what they've been able to accomplish.
All right, let's bundle up. Let's head to Colorado now. And I'm going to go to Art first on this one because it's his team. GAM United taking on Logrones FC, but they did not play. It was canceled due to the weather. That was actually supposed to happen before your team, #GAM time, plays in their 3rd qualifying game for the U.S. Open Cup. That could have been a great, tune-up, right? A great game to get them ready.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, some people might be saying, what if they had some players banged up? Okay, need the rest, but I kind of would like to be saying that you want to get that game in, but it's Colorado, and right now, look, it's November. I mean, it's cold over there. I mean, there was a lot of snow, and it might be a task, to get some of these games done. I mean, unless they're able to play indoors, but easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's only a couple of indoor real facilities around that area, and not necessarily available to those teams. So they have to work with what they have, and weather is going to be a factor here wrapping up the rest of the year. So hopefully they're able to get the games in. The weather stays good enough.
Yeah, enough, yeah. Let's go to the mountain areas. In Boise FC and San Juan FC, if Art is a GAM time guy, then I feel like Pope's kind of just gravitating towards Boise and San Juan. But they did not play either, right? And they've already played a bunch of times, but they haven't. The last one was canceled.
Among the most heated rivalries in all of the UPSL, I think they're 15 goals versus 15 goals this season in their previous matchups. They're neck and neck. Of course, San Juan beat Boise FC in the 2nd round for the U.S. Open Cup several weeks ago, and they were supposed to play another regular season game this past weekend. Fortunately, it was postponed due to the weather. Looks like that game is going to be made up here in the next 10 to 12 days.
So after San Juan's 3rd qualifying
Correct.
game?
So they're going to travel down to El Paso to play Southwest this weekend,
Uh-huh.
and then come back the following weekend after Thanksgiving and replay that match that they were supposed to play against Boise.
Okay.
So still a big couple of weeks ahead for now for San Juan. I mean, the trip to we've talked about it. The trip to El Paso is going to be a tough one. It's 1,000 miles practically from
It's a long
Salt Lake
way.
City to El Paso. So they're going to have a big test ahead of them, and then to come back and have to play Boise the next weekend. It's not like it's going to get any easier, but they will know their competition when they come back to play Boise. It's not like they won't have not seen them before.
Yeah.
Right. So they get through. I think if they get through Southwest and they're able to come away with a result there, no matter what happens in that next game, they're going to be happy.
I don't think that you mentioned something about the miles, and is that really that big of a deal? Because I feel like there's some people that would walk even 500 miles.
Okay.
To see this matchup.
Right.
Because if you think about it,
I don't think anyone
Southwest
recognized
is
that
actually southeast, if you think about it, right?
Yeah, that's right. We
But
did.
some would walk 500 more. If that's what
And I would
Yeah.
walk 500 miles.
So I think we know what you're saying, right? I think we get it.
Can we go to Northern California now?
Please.
Yes, we can, but I am not going to mimic how they talk up there, so let's just leave it at that.
In the Northern California up there. Actually talking about the Nevada Coyotes, but they had a big win against Napa Sporting FC. Why was that a big win, Art?
Well, it's huge because they secure the top of the Wild West North. Mm-hmm. For the for the Northern California. I mean, this is huge. I mean, they're top of the Wild West, and don't worry, I don't have any kinds of puns to go with that. But it's a huge win, and now we're getting closer to the playoffs, and they've been doing big things. They're playing well. You gotta like what you see from them.
Yeah, I think a 2-0 victory over Sporting kind of sets the standard there in the Wild West North. Lets everybody know who the top team is now for sure. And I think it'll be Nevada's or the Coyotes, division to lose at this point going forward.
And a little bit closer to home here in the Southern California area, Cal United FC 2 has emerged, I guess, as the team to beat, right? I see in my notes they beat Santa Ana Winds on a scrappy goal.
You could call it scrappy. Some people might call it another kind of goal, but yeah, it was a goal. It was a goal, that's for sure.
It counts, right? I mean, and that was the difference.
That was the difference, and I don't think that if these two teams played 10 times that it would finish anything different than 5-5, or some variation.
That even,
there, maybe a 3-3-4 situation or something. But super close, and I'm not surprised that it came down to one kind of iffy goal to decide a game like this. The two teams are just so talented, and I think they want it so bad. I mean, it may mean the difference between making the playoffs and not at this point. There's so few games left. So this was definitely a game that could turn, the results in the South Division of the SoCal region, and make a difference at the end of the year. It could be the three biggest points all year for Cal United FC, to tell you the truth.
Anything to add on that, Art? Big win for Cal United FC 2.
Another huge win. They've been having a great season. They've had a couple of tough games recently compared to how the season started off. But I believe the goal was scored by Christian Gordillo, if I'm not mistaken, and he has the nickname El Flaquillo. So he's scored some quality goals so far this season. And when it comes to his nickname, it wasn't one of those things where they say that's what they call him. That's what he told me.
Oh,
that his nickname is.
What does that translate to?
El Flaquillo, he's
Flacco's skinny.
Skinny,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's probably like a little skinny guy. Flaquillo, little skinny guy.
Yeah,
Is he skinny?
It was a poacher's goal, so.
You know what? Sometimes you just be in the right place at the right time, right? And just hang out. And
That's what it takes.
till the ball finds your feet.
And
That's
that
a talent.
Yeah, that victory sets the table for this weekend where they'll play Cal FC in the third round of the U.S. Open Cup. That game, of course, was supposed to be played in Thousand Oaks. Do we know anything about the situation there?
I believe it was supposed to be played in Calabasas.
Okay.
It is still
Which
scheduled.
is very close.
It is still scheduled to be played in Thousand Oaks. Last time I checked in with one of my contacts, so yeah, it's still going on as scheduled. And I will be doing the call for that game. And
Art behind the
definitely
mic.
looking forward to it.
Breaking it down. A little play-by-play action, huh?
The one thing I'm very concerned about is, look, it's Cal FC versus Cal United FC 2. I mean, how many? Will I make a couple mistakes? I mean, am I allowed to make a couple?
Yes, but do you have a goal call?
Still working on that.
'Cause
you'll be the first to know.
He's goal gluten free. You can have that one. That one, I'm giving you that one for free. So just
Thank
can
you.
Can you do that? Can you say it like in the game, in the match, and then we could Juan, can we play it on the show next week, like the next time we're on? Can you drop that?
I'll do my best.
He's goal.
It can be done. It can be done.
You could even, I guess, apply it to the keeper if he saves a goal. He's goal gluten free. I don't know. All right, we got to wrap things up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our final thoughts here on Inside the UPSL presented by TVE Max. And welcome back to Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max. Again, there is still plenty of time if you would like to get some free advertising on this show for a limited time, limited space as well. You got to hit us up early, sales at tvemax.com. That's the email address. Hit us up. Art has not purchased all of the advertising space. We left a little available. Are you still launching the Kardashian side, or is this on your soccer side? Or, I mean, because I know you're trying to promote your websites out there.
You know, the Kardashians, I got to be honest, I am not a fan. You know, just
Then why
let
are
me
they on
know.
your bucket list? You said you were going up to Calabasas to call the game, the Cal
That was-
United FC game. Is that why you're going up there, or
No,
to run into them?
It was just for the game.
Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. I mean, yes, people could be fans of the Kardashians for certain things, but but I'm just leaving it at that. Don't watch the show. I'm glad I have not seen it.
So,
Very glad.
Art, when you head up to that part of the world called the Cal United FC game, right?
Yeah.
Where can people find it?
They can find it on MyCujo. Look for it on MyCujo. Search for Cal FC. They'll be the ones they will be hosting the match. So you're going to want to search for Cal FC when you're on MyCujo, whether you're at your desk, whether at your desktop. I mean, people have them these days, your laptop, or on your mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you got to find it, and you'll be able to hear me doing the call.
Art will be on the call. And finally, this was the first time I've met Paul Caligiuri, which is awesome to have him here in the studio. You guys seem to be all buddy-buddy with him. Do you guys know him well? I mean, like high fives and secret handshakes. You guys are doing all kinds of things on this. Both of you.
Well, when you're part of the UPSL, you're part of the in crowd. So, you know.
The cool kids.
Yeah, right. So now you're hanging out with us, and you got to meet cool people.
He's like, it's
That's
good.
how it goes.
It's like, good seeing you, Art. You go back with Paul Caligiuri as
Well,
well?
I am the writer and commentator for Orange County FC. So yeah, I've interviewed Paul on many occasions, and he's a good guy to you can have a good chat with him.
Let's leave everyone on this. If you could have any American soccer star, past or present, in our studio, not named Paul Caligiuri, who would you add in here?
That is an excellent question.
Because again, my wheelhouse, and I know Pope, you and I are very similar in age. Like, was that '94 World Cup team? Like, I could go through the whole lineup right now. With besides Paul Caligiuri, all the guys that were in the starting 11. I think Eric Winaldo would be fun because he's very outspoken. He does a lot of media. He does a lot of interviews. But I think my guy on that team, and he's obviously in front of the camera quite a bit, was Alexi Lawless.
Yeah.
Like, he was kind of the face for a while just because he just looked so different than everybody else. Cover of newspapers and
Right.
all over TV. It would be awesome to have Alexi Lawless in
Great
here.
to look at in photographs, that's for sure. But I think if I was to get like one guy from that '94 team in here that I was interested in speaking to, it'd be Kobe Jones.
Kobe Jones.
Right? I think
Yeah.
Kobe Jones is my guy. When he described soccer to me as a physical sport that his brothers made fun of because they were playing football at the time and he was playing soccer, and he came home just as beat up or more beat up than they were, and they were seeing how physical the game was, that proved to me that playing soccer as a young kid was worth it. And so I've always thought Kobe Jones was the man.
How about you, Art?
I'd have to say Kobe Jones also, because I remember very early on when I was always watching the Galaxy. Kobe Jones was there. That was such a great team, and I have a lot of good memories from that. I was going to suggest, a possible one. I would say Tony Meola. During that 1990 World Cup, he had like this mullet, and
He did.
It was pretty cool.
I don't think he's got much left of that mullet, to be honest.
Have you seen him lately?
He does promotion for some different soccer stuff, but yeah, he's not carrying a whole lot of top.
If he's watching right now, we're gonna tag him on social media so he can watch this show.
He's gonna hurt me. He's not gonna like.
Be like,
that.
remember the time he tried out for the New York Jets? Didn't he try to?
That's right.
He tried to.
He played some preseason games even. I
Did
think.
he?
Yeah, I remember him kicking field goals like on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. That crossover.
Yeah, he tried. You know what I mean? He could sure kick those goal kicks, right?
Yeah, Kobe Jones was my guy though. I see what you're saying about Miola though. That would have been
That would have been
that's
fun.
a good call. Yeah.
All right, well, we got to wrap things up here. Again, hit us up, sales@tvemax.com if you're interested in some of that free advertising. There is some available,
It's free.
but space is limited. Yeah, it's free. Just shoot an email. It's that easy. It's not some ploy. It's not a pyramid scheme. it's just is what it is. For Pope, for Art Eftikari, my name is Pep Fernandez. We always appreciate you tuning in. A big thanks to Paul Caligiuri for joining us in studio, and we'll see you next time on Inside the UPSL, presented by TVE Max.